Good morning, everyone. This is Jason Bitbender Brink from Gala Games, and I'm here with T.Elliot Cannon, Warren Marshall, and Nina Desai, three of the absolutely amazing luminaries behind Townstar. We're going to be talking to them for the next 45 minutes or so. I believe Elliot has a quick presentation or something that he would like to share, followed by some conversation and answering questions about the game. I know there's a lot of really, really, really cool news coming up, and there's a lot of things that I know people want some answers to. And so, for the purposes of this AMA, we will be taking questions from the Townstar discussion channel in our Discord at galagames.chat. So if you're watching this, no matter where you happen to be, hop into our Discord at galagames.chat, find the Townstar channel, and ask your questions. Sometimes we take questions from YouTube and Periscope and all of the other places that this is simultaneously streamed, but this morning we will not be doing so for the sake of time. So without further ado, let's dig right in.
Sure. Well, gosh,
How are you guys doing today?
busy. We're being rained on in Texas, so we survived the heat wave. I know other folks around the world had trouble with that.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, or actually like a week and a half ago, we had the heat wave come through BC up here. Absolutely melted things down. We went to Whistler, which is famous for its skiing, because they had hotels with air conditioning. So
Good
that's
Lord.
kind of where it was. So if you could kindly take your weather back, Texas, I would appreciate it.
I thought we invented death and destiny,
Right,
dying in the heat out
right.
here. We want our copyright back. That's cool. We've been super duper busy, hardcore. We got some fun stuff to show you. Um, we could talk about that briefly, or start fielding questions. We can do whatever you want. I want the community to be able to slam some
For
questions too.
for starters, definitely. Let me go ahead. I'm going to try to juice your audio just a little bit here.
Sure.
They're saying that you're a lot quieter. If you could go ahead and talk a bit now.
How about that? Does that sound a little bit better?
That better, guys? Elliot is just naturally a wonderfully soft-spoken, calming individual to listen
Haha.
to.
Not hardly.
He's
Soothing.
he's
Soothing
kind
is the word I would use.
soothing. It's like listening. I mean, it's not quite. To be fair, it's not quite Michael McCarthy level, which has like he has this Garrison
I
Keillor
haven't got that
style
achievement yet.
voice that just makes you want to just like sit back and sip some iced tea and relax or something.
You go back to
Oh,
sleep.
there you go.
Is the
Okay,
volume level
guys.
okay now? Is it cool
Volume
now?
level is good. Discord is
Cool.
reporting that they are happy with the volume level.
Excellent.
So let's go ahead and dive right in.
Sure.
Do you want to tell them a little bit of what's coming first? I think that might
Yeah,
answer some
sure.
questions, and then
I
we'll go
mean, the
from
thing
there.
is, once you get me started, dude, you're gonna have to say stop talking
Don't
because there's
worry,
just so much going on. All right.
I will
So
never mind. I'm not
that,
going to say
yes, do that.
anything. I'm going to say no things now. Continue.
So the hugest thing for me jumping on the team and getting everyone wrangled is this the massive backlog of all the things that need to get done to get the game finished. So Adam and Christian joined our team last month. He's another really good programmer. He's in San Antonio with me. They're knocking out a lot of the backlog items. So one of the biggest ones is all the ledger is law security items. They're focusing on that very, very hardcore. And so that's going to make a huge difference in the longevity of the game, the fairness, the fair play of the game. So that's happening. In addition to that, every week, all the little miniature updates and small little quality of life things we can squeeze in between this big effort. They've been doing those kinds of things too. You've probably seen them. Adam and I are going to put together kind of a weekly engineering update that shows you behind the scenes, like what we're working on, what we fix, so you know what it is. Because sometimes we don't really release patch notes or anything like that. So it'd be a great way for him to kind of tell you in his own technical terms, like, hey, we've added this, we've added this, we've added this. So a big picture ticket item for me is to get all the features complete, because when I got here, it wasn't done. It was in pretty darn good shape, but the May Mayhem revealed a couple of problems, and there's a lot of things with people doing scripts that are, some of them are not fair, and we want to get all those things kind of fair play for everybody, but still be fun for everyone to play. Then secondly, the growth of the game in the future. So the game hasn't had any major unit changes or anything like that. So we went, but the whole game's been built basically in a spreadsheet, right? So we're going through all the spreadsheet stuff and reorganizing the way you build and add units to the game so we can add new stuff and new content. So we have a huge master list of all these different types of buildings and units we're going to add, everything from apples to fruit trees to breweries to fishing to all that kind of stuff. We're going to keep growing the formula of the game, so that it's not just the same solution every week. And then we can change the variability and the value of things of money to stars. So you're like, okay, what's it going to be this week? How am I going to figure that out? Because if we don't keep changing the chemical equation, it can become stale and you just kind of go through the same motions all the time. So that's a really big, not difficult to do, but a really big change we're doing right now. On the other front, the other big thing we're doing is making a townstar.com website completely dedicated just to the game
Ooh.
and adding a lot of very, very informative tutorials to help new people get into the game and even more advanced level tutorials as we introduce more units. So people are like, oh, wait a minute, how does fishing work? Well, you can go to the website and read all about it. It explains it all. The last thing we're doing is changing a lot of the UI in the front end. We're going to make things more three-dimensional and more beautiful looking, not to run slower, but to be a little more cleaned up and polished, more production value. And so when you enter the game for the first time, it's going to have a play mode and then it'll have a compete mode. So that way someone can go in there and try out a new build, try out some of the new units and to play. Right now it says server free. It's kind of confusing actually. So we want to put that into the game too. So new people come into the game can ramp into the game, learn at their own pace, figure things out, because not everyone is active on Discord. Some people come from other free to play games. They don't really know where to get information. There's only a couple of really cool fan community sites out there. So we're trying to bring all this multiple kind of approach to the game to make the game more fun. And so that's really the big ticket. Make the game more fun, make it work, get it finished. And yeah, that's basically the big theme of what we're trying to do right now. We have other cool stuff happening behind the scenes as well. A lot of long-term plans are really exciting that we're going to reveal in the next few weeks. But I'd love to show the little snapshot of the design of the website. You want to do that real quick? Because it looks really cool, and I love the colors and the theme, and the team here put together a look and feel for it, and I think it's really going to help. I know for me as a big
Yep.
hardcore MMO PvP type player, I play a lot of MMOs ever since Ultima Online. I still play Guild Wars 2 all the time. And for me, these kind of games, if I want to know what's going on with Warframe or what's happening in my game, I want to go to the website and see a plethora of information, and I want that to have an anchor point for all my social media. I want to see what the devs are doing. I want to see patch notes. I want to see if something's been nerfed and changed. Just pick up my phone and see what's happening with the game I want to play. So I want to bring all that modern kind of sensibilities from the free to play world for information for players into Townstar and still amplify the Discord stuff. That's not going away. That's fantastic. But there's a large audience of people that are kind of lost when they first get into this game. And it's a very tricky problem to solve trying to go through the different tiers of getting good in Townstar. Like I said, 5,000 words per minute. So let me just stop right there. There's a lot of cool stuff that we're doing, and we're excited about it. Just we're going as fast as possibly can. We're a small, little, lean team, but yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it. Um, yeah, I'll just turn it over to you guys. Nina, you want to talk about the website some?
Yeah, let's hear about this
Yeah.
website. This is
Well,
absolutely
I
beautiful,
started
Nina.
sharing it while you were talking.
Cool.
Um,
Yes, it
yeah, I
is.
think
It is being broadcast to the entire world right now. Hey, what do you guys think of this? Do you guys like this?
the whole world can see it. Yeah, I think to Elliot's point, the game has some hardcore elements that are harder for some free to play players to really get invested and get into. So the purpose of the website is in essence to sort of teach players and provide sort of an academy, sort of like on Eve Online, where you can come and like dig into some guides and make it more palatable for all players, and just to kind of connect with players more outside of the game.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I
We invented a
love
new
these.
language. It's based upon ancient Latin. So
I love it. Gotta love the lorem ipsum. It's
There's
it's
a lot
yeah,
of
fantastic.
yeah. So we're writing all the copy for the stuff now, which is all the actual text and stuff behind the scenes. We're putting together a lot of advanced tutorials. At some point, I'd love to have a cool summit with the hardcore advanced players and the new players to have them review and take a look at the copy we have for some tutorials and say, hey, how does this read? Do you like this? It sound pretty cool. Does it seem confusing to you? Because that's all I care about. Is all I really want to make sure that happens is that it functions for players. It's not about what we want it to be. You know what I mean? So that'll
Right.
be a fun initiative, dude. That might take a couple of weeks to get to that stage, but just getting this effort put together is going to be great. And we want to move the blog here too, actually, so we can like instantly jam stuff up. Like even this week, we had about 5 major things we wanted to share and blast out to people, and I think that'll help us go even faster.
Yeah, there will definitely be a lot of increased speed from that. I got a quick question here from Truck Tonka. He's a member of the BTB team. He's a BTBer. He would like to know when this website will be online. You know, any estimates there?
Good question.
Good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we can commit to at this point. So
Sometime after right
sometime,
now, though.
Yeah,
So
right after,
it is,
shortly,
it
but
is,
before later.
but definitely before way later. I mean, it's
It is
sometime.
certainly not too late.
Yeah,
Right,
that
right.
would be inappropriate.
Would you say
Exactly.
it's going to be somewhere between sooner or later?
In all seriousness, the big thing for me is to make sure that we build it, then we set it up as a staged
Right,
website, and we put all our copy and our content in there and all
right.
graphics, and make sure it's nice and fun to read, but also it's meaningful information. And then we test that against a cohort of people who haven't played the game before, and then a cohort of people who have played the game, because we're really into usability testing.
Hmm.
That you guys don't. I mean, Nina does this all the time. I mean, she's a pro at this stuff. So then we take all that hardcore feedback of people, hey, I hate this, I like this, I don't like that. Then we integrate that and then clean up. So by the time we release it to other people, it's our best effort, and then you can tell us what you think too, and then we can polish it one more time. So I think that'll be the best way to roll it out. I love to have the thing live in a month or a month and a half at the latest, but I'm
Mhm.
always overly ambitious because I'm anxious like a little kid. But yeah, I mean, getting the copy done now, we've got that rolling pretty well. So, but yeah, I hope
Nice.
so. I like to get it done sooner than later because it's neat and exciting.
It is. It's very neat and exciting. Um, would you like to talk a little bit about art in the world of Townstar Warren? Just really quick before you do that, I want to tell a little tiny anecdote. Um, a couple weeks ago, Carrie pointed out that we had made a promise to the players to give them a bug bot for the sort of faceplant that Townstar did during the first week of May Mayhem. And I realized that we had said we were going to do that, but we hadn't quite moved forward on it and executed yet. And that was at about the same time that Elliot took over, and I don't know that I had basically surfaced it for a thing that needed to be on the list, which is my bad, guys. Not the Townstar team. That's entirely on me. But the interesting thing about this is I sent Elliot a message and I said, "Hey, Elliot, man, we got this thing that we're supposed to do. I don't know where it falls on your priority list, but is that something that we can take care of?" And he's like, "Hey, just give me a second. I'll give you a call." So he calls me. We get over the course of like 10 minutes during everybody's lunchtime, we get the Townstar team, okay, on the call brainstorming about exactly how to execute and deliver this bug bot, and then they began moving forward on it right away. I was hugely impressed with the turn time and responsiveness, and so you guys are in very very good hands here. Townstar is in very very good hands. But would you like to talk a little bit about like the art and the creation process for something like that, Warren?
Yeah. Well, the thing with the bot particularly is that we wanted to have a bot that kind of resembled the other bots, but was helpful, carrying water around. So we're like, okay, fine. So how do you make a defective version of that? And the first thing that popped, like, it helps as an artist to have as wide a mental range as you can. So you're watching movies, watching TV shows, reading books, that kind, travel, whatever, and get as much in your head as you can, because in those moments things pop out. And as we were talking about it, I thought of Futurama, and they have that malfunctioning Eddie bot, the used car salesman guy. And I'm like, yeah, he's a janky robot. Yeah, but he's still a functional robot. And that seemed to be, and that was kind of the inspiration that we used to jump off and say, well, we'll design a regular bot, which I'm going to do a blog post about. I got a whole series of progress images on him so people can see how that comes from your concept through iteration, through actual modeling and all that jazz. But the buggy bot was like, okay, we'll get a functional bot and then we'll add some jank to him. Maybe his head's tilted, maybe there's a wire sticking out, maybe he's sparking, that kind of stuff. He's going to have a weird animation, all that kind of jazz. But yeah, it's just a matter of having fun with it and trying to keep it light.
I love it.
Yeah.
Should we take some questions from the community? Let's see what the Townstar players are interested in hearing.
Yeah.
So the first question that people tend to ask, and this is something that you get anytime we have a game where there's some sort of rewards being given out. They're very interested in learning about whether or not the number of people getting rewards in any given week for the competitive server is going to be increasing. I believe it's at
Yeah,
100 people right now.
yeah, I'd like to change that, man. I mean, I know we've been
Okay.
doing a lot of hardcore stuff right now. It's very hard for people coming to the game to get in like the top 100. It's really, really hard, especially with the way that it is right now. I mean, it's it's a competition. Yeah, that's great. It gives you some rewards. I mean, that's a fun goal to go after. It's pretty cool if you get in the top 10, but having some kind of reward for your effort is gratifying, and I think that's something we need to tone down a little bit and put more on the fun side. I mean, that's one thing about the Mayhem thing I thought was extremely cool is the different, there were certain plateaus. There were like different levels. If you're trying to hit a certain plateau, you get a huge prize. I think we should mix it up a lot more often. I don't
Mm.
want to just have a situation like, this is how you get the grade and leave. It should change around a lot. We should change it and find what's fun. So yeah, that's a great idea. I was talking about that earlier. There was some folks in Discord. I'm in there all the time. I just don't talk. The I'm listening. The They were talking about that. A lot of new people come in. They're like, "Hey, what do you have to score to how many stars you need to get a prize? What rank?" And people, "Oh, it's a pin post." So that's where the information flow is. Like someone doesn't know, they start thinking about it. They're playing the game. They look at the game. They look at this leaderboard. They see their rank, 1400 or something, and maybe they're working really hard and they get to 800. And they're like, "Am I going to be able to get faster here? I
Mm.
just busted my, you know, butt to sell all this stuff, and I only went up 20 places." And so that whole mental travel point of trying to predict where are you, it's Wednesday, how are you going to do? How are you going to finish it? I think that needs to be a little bit more fun. Like, well, you know what? I may not get in the top 100, but I can get 450 pretty easily. I'm at 465. Let me manipulate things to make sure I hit 450 the last minute. It's like auctioning something at eBay. Have you ever done that in the old days? You wait till the last second to put your last bid in. I think those kinds of things, and
Bid
also some
sniper.
random like target. It'd be neat to have a target competition where being number one isn't the person that actually wins. Like we give you a target number. I mean, there's all kinds of neat things we should try.
Mm.
I'm totally not against doing something that will make things more fun. I think any designer that tries to say, well, it just needs to be this way and that's it forever, they're just narrow-minded and a stick in the mud. I think you need to make things always change and fun because if it's not fun, it's going to tell you, right? You're going to, well, you know what, that wasn't fun. We're not going to do that anymore. So that's the way I think about those kinds of things. A lot of people in the team want it to be that way. But the game
Right.
hasn't changed much since Mayhem because we've been heads down pretty hardcore working on a lot of really important things, and I don't like to try to spread ourselves too thin. I do like to go in there and hyper focus on one thing really hard and make sure it's working really, really good, and then kind of take, okay, that's pretty much under control. Now let's go do this other thing. So yeah, that would be. I'm totally for that. In fact, it would be great to hear what people think would be cool because people that play the game, like who are gamers like me, they have some of the best ideas. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
totally.
It's one of the things that I love about the Gala Games community in general is there's a huge number of amazing ideas that are being kicked around by everyone pretty much all the time. I mean, there are times when I drop into Discord and I see things that are just absolutely mind bending ideas. I love it. Um,
Can I add something to that too?
yes,
You
of
know,
course.
Carrie, who's absolutely awesome on Discord, she captures those ideas and puts them in this huge spreadsheet that I can go through and filter through, and anyone on the team can look at it too. Um, I have more free time to think about the future than they do because they're killing themselves every day to make stuff awesome. But it's like your ideas, they actually get in there quote unquote, like however you wrote it. It says
Mm.
who did it, what date it said it, it has a little category. And I go through that stuff every week, like, oh man, I need more time to do all these cool things to the game. So your ideas, they don't just go in the void and scroll away and 50 messages and click read. It doesn't happen, and those things actually get captured. Um, we're a small little team, so we're trying to prioritize as best we can. But your stuff gets logged. I see comments from stuff from January the 3rd that are going in our backlog now.
Yeah.
So it's really useful resource. You actually have a direct line of communication right to us that your idea is not going into the void. You may not
Right.
see it happen in the game just yet, which sometimes feels like dealing with an insurance company, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's there. And we could, hey, what do we want to do next while we're prioritizing? I go back there actually first. I already have a huge technical list of stuff I want to do, but what the players have thought of. And some of the ideas are great. Some of them are zany, but that's cool too. So
So we've got some questions from DX Para. DX Para, you may or may not know, is a long time passionate member of the community, longtime Townstar player, and always has contributed a lot to discussions and to the community in general. So he's got a couple questions. I'm going to go with one of the easiest ones that I think that needs to be answered. Is that there were various points in time at which it was mentioned that there would be different types of servers for different types of players. So there would be for solo players who don't want to compete in a team, because the team aspect some people find particularly challenging. There might be a server in which no NFTs are enabled. There might be a server in which no points are logged and you're just basically playing a decorative game to make a town and have fun. Is there a timeline for the creation of something like that? Is it something that you have on the roadmap in the future? Or
It's on the roadmap, that's for sure. I mean, I come from Unreal Tournament and Quake World and all that kind of stuff. Mutators and modified server variables are a lot of fun in all kinds of different games. So it's something we want to do, absolutely. Right now, just to be totally realistic about it, I have a huge list of functionality things I want to get done first, and a lot of information to bring in new players to the game who can learn what's happening in the game, merge those in the middle, and then start with the free play server and then the competitive server, and then do these different types of competitions, then add more units into that formula, right? So it's not just the same periodic table of 20 elements. We want 2,000 elements. So
right.
keep adding and growing the game. And then once that gets in a pretty strong stable point, I got a really good rhythm going, then I can go and say, okay, great. Now let's have a secondary, third, fourth server with all these different types of variables, because group play is hard. Like my wife and I both play, but we're not jimmying anything to each other. She doesn't want my stuff. She doesn't want my help. So I think those are great ideas. I agree completely. I don't have a timeline for you, which is, I know it's probably a bummer for you to hear, but it's on
Hey,
there. It's on that list.
real talk, man. We got to have real talk.
I'm
Some
not gonna
more.
promise something that's not gonna happen.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Those of us who interface very, very frequently with the community definitely appreciate it when you don't make and then miss timelines. One question that a lot of people are asking, and I think it was Johnny T that asked first, is when do we have when do we plan on integrating the farm bot in some sort of capacity?
That's a good question. There's a number of bots that have been put together and assembled and stuff like that. I hate to keep referring to this. This is on a list of it's not done till these things are completed. Every promise that they
Right.
made before I got here, which is cool. I will honor all these things. They have to be put in. I mean, they're part of the whole game promise is in this development phase that we're doing now. They have to be done. Yes, they have these ambitious goals. I want to grow the game and all these cool things you heard me say 2 minutes ago, but those things are on the list as well to be done. And they're certainly not going to be forgotten and keep pushed under the table for a long period of time. If I can get all, not I, but if we can get all the stability elements done, all the UI elements done, all the elements that bring the game, okay, great. Now it feels stable and it's in this position where we can start adding features every week, improving things, improving security, adding the other servers, then those types of elements can start happening too. I need to fulfill these long-term NFT type things that have been wrangled from the very beginning when the game was kind of like in its early inception form in 2020. So yeah, absolutely. I just don't have a timeline for you. It's just so much we're trying to do with like 5, 6 people. So,
Oh, for
but
sure, for sure. That's very, very understandable. There's
yeah,
some
it'll be
some
honored for sure. And
there's
when
some
I get,
guy named Jesse Hines or something like that here. Some dude. I don't know who he is, but he wants to know when there's going to be like law skins for Townstar. We can maybe get a lawyer bot in there to
uh-huh.
arbitrarily slow things down. That would
That
be
sounds like a mole.
yeah, yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
where'd that guy come from?
A lawyer mole. I like it. I like it. We
Jesse's our
can
attorney. Jesse's our attorney for the company, so he's being cheeky.
he.
I think I will go. I will do everything in my power to make sure there isn't one.
Oh,
We will add a game
oh.
developer, a PvP player, right? We'll add a digital artist hub. We'll put an art station thing in there and make a deal with Epic, right?
There you
So
go.
we'll add everything but law.
But law, no
And we'll
law.
add
So
cops to the game that ask you, come to your door window and make you roll your window down and do all that kind of stuff like they do on YouTube.
nice.
In
Um,
all seriousness, I think you're not going to go down the route of Civilization or something like that. That's a completely different type of game. But
right,
any
right.
kind of unit that is a craft oriented that has a multiple tiers where you can add, and has interrelationships Like if you add apples and apple trees, then you have a brewery, you have a cider farm, you can make apple
Right.
pies. Like you can do these type of things that are kind of fun that people understand what they are already. I think those would be hilarious.
Nice.
And but law, I don't want to integrate anything that's not fun. So, and I don't usually
Oh,
categorize law as fun.
So
Maybe I
so
need to be enlightened about that. Maybe Jesse can give me a one-on-one why law is fun. Day.
so I want
well,
to.
honestly, we're kind of halfway there, right? You got the tree farms, which they can use to create their own pulp for their paper to create the contracts. But
There you
it's
go.
it's the
Yeah.
whole rolling
And then we can
system,
make a
right?
shredder.
Yeah, there you go.
You could
Shredder
just
bot.
make it and just shred it right away. Don't even sign anything.
Um, so we
I'm
have
gonna
a
appreciate you with Jesse. That's good.
we have
awesome, I
a
love it.
question here from Mal that I'm going to go ahead and answer. When can I assemble my CraneBot parts again? I'm getting a call from Oregon right now. I wonder if that's McCarthy. Um, anyway, when can I assemble my
It's
CraneBot
Jesse
parts again?
swatting you, man.
He's not in Oregon though. I don't know who this is. Anyway,
Been spoofed.
so Mal, the answer to your question is that right now the assembling of bots has been put on hold as Gala Chain gets brought online, because we want to make sure that when people are actually initiating the crafting experience, they're getting the NFT that they're supposed to be getting, and the best way to do that will be via Gala Chain, especially with gas prices being as they are. A couple weeks ago, before we decided to kind of implement the pause in the CraneBot crafting. The gas fees to craft a CraneBot was about twice what you could get a CraneBot on OpenSea for, and so we just figured that we could pump the brakes on that a little bit until we got Gala Chain completely spun up. Okay, let's see.
You need to ask more art questions so Warren can tell you about his awesome game development experience.
Yeah, let's do
We're
that.
both we're both epic alumni.
Let's
I mean,
let's
this
hear
alumni is
some
amazing too.
art questions, guys. So how about this? I have a question for you, Warren.
Oh, okay.
You've made some amazing art. I died on your bridge in PUBG many times. My brain has been splattered all over your assets in Miramar. Um, so many times. That's actually one of
That's
my
fine. That's a story
favorite.
I hear from a bunch of people. They're always like, "I love that bridge. I died on it so many times."
So frequently, so
That's
frequently.
awesome.
And so now you're making cute cartoon robots that carry water around, and stuff like that. Now, obviously, at a surface level, these are massively different things. Okay, but from a design perspective and from an art perspective, what are the interesting similarities between these two things that you can see?
Well, yeah, it's also a different role that I'm in. Like, back then I was actually producing the assets, and now I'm more managing and helping design and directing other artists to build them. But I'm able to take that past experience and pass along what I know. Like I've done that a few times with our contractors. So like, there's a more optimal way to make this kind of circle shape and that kind of jazz. And when you're dealing with a game like Townstar, it's low poly, but you don't want to get spendy. Keep it running quick. The similarities are like there are a lot because art is basically art. It's the same kind of sensibility, the same color theory, same balance of details. All this stuff is all very applicable no matter what you're actually doing. So it's not that radically afield from designing anything else, honestly.
Okay. Um, what are your guys' feelings on eventually getting some Townstar merch out there? Ultra 625 would like to know, and he is an amazing D&D player, very creative. I seem to remember something about a somersault to catch beer from a leaking cask. It was a traumatic.
That was like a
traveling
DC
event.
80.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. I think actually that was a nat 20. But anyway, Townstar merch. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Townstar merch. Like, I can't help but think that a trucker hat with the Townstar logo has got to be the first thing.
Why do I
I
keep thinking of that one scene in Spaceballs? Merchandising.
Merchandising. I love
Fake
it.
bling and stuff. That would be awesome. Nina, go make that happen. Tell Carrie to book that for GalaCon.
We have it. We've got the resources. We can definitely make that happen.
As long as it's fun.
Yes,
Has to be
definitely,
fun.
definitely.
Can't
I think
be, you know,
I
not
wonder if
fun.
we could. I wonder if we could do like a Town Star hat for the first 100 people in the door at GalaCon.
Jason Brink Funko doll.
I already have a bobblehead, so I'm kind of a living, breathing Funko doll.
Have we ever
Um,
polled the community what they want to have? Like, I'd like to have a T-shirt for winter and a T-shirt for fall, and maybe a backpack or something cool while I ride my bike. It's like, what would
yeah,
be
I love that.
what they want to have?
They
What,
really want the
don't you?
dragon,
They don't
the
want one of those
dragon
insurance company calendars.
with like
The dragon. Oh, talk about that. What was that? They said they want the dragon.
the Miranda's dragon on a
Yeah,
shirt is something that people have talked about
that's
a
a great
lot.
idea.
I have a design for that.
I
Oh,
know you do it. It's absolutely brilliant. And I think
go to
somebody
it.
in the community made a rough first, and then we made a
Oh,
design.
really?
Yeah, I actually
I want
have
to see that. Someone DM
a
me in Discord that.
It's
actually
beautiful.
Jeff sent
Image.
me a like a 2 pint mug that has that etched on the outside of it. When my baby was born. It's
Oh, that's beautiful.
my daddy drank.
I want a
Um,
WizKid mini that's about this tall.
yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay, let's see here.
Wind Dragon.
And when dragon. Um, so you were talking a little bit about having an FAQ. That there's kind of a central location for people to learn about the game. Um, is that going to be something that's part of the new site at launch? Maybe I'll.
Yeah, I'm trying to compartmentalize these things into chapters and stories and context. So, like, you'd
Mhm.
have learn how to do this, learn how to do this, learn how to do this, and have different little units. You can jump around and do it in whatever order you want to. Um, Sometimes you see this in like Age of Empires 3. They redid it. They did a video, and then they do like a little playable mission, which is an achievement. That's really cool too. But I want to start off with just by a lot of different. You want to learn about something, it's kind of like a wiki, a fun version of a wiki without being
Right.
just dry text everywhere. So all the information's in there. You can take that information and go, oh, okay, I need to do this, have it on your phone while you're playing over here and look at it. Useful information. Like if you're trying to learn how to play Path of Exile, and you got to figure out where the information is somewhere. You don't want to dig through 5 million pages of wiki. Sometimes you just don't know what's the best build for, Shield Warrior. So
Right.
the tutorials, I want to make them where they're fun to read. They're useful though. They need to have real hardcore information. So as you read through it, you can start off like, okay, this is the concept. I get it. I need to do this. Need to do this. Here's how that would actually look, and here's what I need to go do as a formula to go get doing that. Because part of the problem isn't knowing exactly what to do in what order. It's where to place it in the relationship between the other units and when to do it based upon your budget and your time and your spend. It's an economic challenge. It's like a rocket physicist, as NASA guy trying to figure out how to drop the orbit and come land. It can be very complicated. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the information of knowing how to get to this, how to make cake, right? You can go on the web and figure that out, but when to do it is a level of expertise. And when all the variables change every week, that formula becomes tricky. It's like having a massive quadratic equation running in your brain. That's where the fun
Right.
factor comes, is solving that. Once you get past the phase of figuring out how the different shady, dirty, all these types of influences from adjacent buildings and environments affect things, then you get these dilemmas like, okay, with my plot of land, what am I going to do with this rock? The hardcore people who are at the end game, it's very easy for them. They're just going bam, 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 formulaically going quick. So I also want to create challenge for them.
Right.
That's like,
Right.
whoa, this is tricky now. I got to figure out how to do this. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. But I'm
So
a big believer in making sure that whatever the actual fun that ultimately happens in your head is getting, you're being, it's like, well, this has got to figure this out. And then when you do figure it out, it's fun to figure it out, and you did it your way.
right. We've got a couple questions that all came through at about the same time about coming from Anders and Tris 24/7 about adding more high tier craftable products in the future. Is that something that you've
Absolutely.
considered? I heard you mention fishing earlier.
Yeah, we've
Um,
been talking about all kinds of things.
I
But
love fishing. I vote that you do fishing.
we had a
That's
huge master list. Do you guys remember some of the other ones we had? I don't want all the questions to be directed at me all the time. It's not cool. Do you remember some of the other ones we were talking about, Warren and Nina? We had some crazy ideas.
Um,
Top of my
some,
head, There's something about high-end wine or something at some point.
Yeah,
I
or
remember.
beer, like breweries.
Hmm.
I like that plan too.
See,
That's a great plan.
the first thing that pops in my head isn't always alcohol, but but
Well,
I
fishing
mean,
and beer.
yes, high-end crafts. The other element I think would be really neat to add to the game that we have a huge master list of all these brainstorm ideas, and they're happening all the time. Is there's a lot of existing units that make things, but in the real world, those places would make a lot more than three things. So when you add something like apple orchards or fruit trees, suddenly you have apple that could lead into cider, which could lead into a different type of apple juice, and then you can lead those into apple pies, which might lead to something else. And so high tier crafts that are more complex that leverage what's already there, not just adding another chess piece. I hate using that silly analogy all the time. Not just adding another unit, another building with another character runs around, does autopilot stuff all the time, but something where even the menu of what to craft of what's there in the existing facility changes as the whole formula changes. And that's just, it's not really that amazing of a game design. It's just that would be more cool. Like that's what it
Right.
would be more fun. And right now everything is kind of like, okay, it's up and running. It's got basic kind of choices. You're going to craft something. You have three choices, commit to one, let it run for a while, then switch to another one or whatever you're going to do. Most people get into a theme like, I'm going to do this scraper, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So the goal for me is to make it not be such a linear situation for you, where you might be like, hey, I can start doing this, but I'm going to transition into this and then go back to that and then transition to this later on. And it sounds like abstract conversation, but yes, high tier crafts ultimately is very important, along with some mid tier stuff, right? I mean, the game is just the game as it is as of right now is what I would call kind of like a core X. It's playable, it works, it's a good stake in the ground, but I want to take it a lot further. Like it
Right.
just, I just want to infuse so much more fun and interest into it. And the good thing is, actually, Warren mentioned this earlier, even though the art design process, all the units and the buildings is difficult, um, the assets can be turned around quickly. The system's in place to add things, so we definitely want to do all those kinds of things.
Mm. So
Really like the comment you made about the using using the existing things to to evolve into other things, which doesn't have that huge of a lift, but it adds a lot of variety and player choice as to what they want to do. Like someone doesn't want to make this, but they can make that with a slight tweak to their farm, that kind of thing. That's cool.
one of the other questions that a few people have asked and that I personally have is it would be very interesting to see Townstar turn into a more robust play to earn type of game in the future where rewards can come in the form of NFTs that are actually crafted and created during gameplay, which they can then go and do something else with or use in game next time. Um, how do you feel about that as a general concept?
I might tip my hand if I tell you what's working behind the scenes.
Okay,
So,
don't do that then. Okay, shh. Never mind. Forget that I asked everyone. I had
because
nothing to
I'm
do with that.
very
Let's talk
bad
about
at getting
sushi.
excited and
Let's
telling
talk
you
about
what's
sushi.
happening.
No, no, shh, shh, quiet. We're talking about sushi now,
I
Elliot.
want to drop some words. Okay,
Don't
persistency is cool.
don't say words. No more words. We're talking about sushi now. They want to know about sushi rice, fish rice, or something. Yeah, they
Okay,
want to know about
all
sushi,
right,
fish
I'll
rice,
stop.
and seaweed.
We're adding
Okay,
sushi now. Okay.
yeah, okay, we'll talk about EB. Wasabi.
Dude, wasabi. Yeah, now I want sushi. Never mind. It's 8:45 in the morning. I don't want sushi. That
It's
is
10:45 here. We've been working all morning. We've been doing this for 6 hours already.
I've been doing this for
You've been raising a
5
family or something.
hours. Come on, man.
Okay, 100% credit. You got the
And
never sleep achievement.
I slept for 45 minutes last night.
Oh man.
45 minutes. The little one.
These
The
folks
little
that don't
one
know,
was.
Jason's a dad now.
Yeah, yeah.
He has
So
a magic. He's a magic astronaut in the family.
my baby is now 5 days old.
Wow.
And she's the
Congratulations.
cutest thing in the world. I love her to death. She needs to learn to do more of the sleeping. Especially.
Well, I have to
at
say,
night.
on 45 minutes of sleep, you're looking remarkably spry. So well done.
Hey man,
it must be the jacket.
It's the jacket. It's the this amount of caffeine.
Yes.
Okay. And and by the way, this is like about a 3/4 of a cup of espresso ground. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So there is a good chance that I may just like keel over during
Crash.
our next meeting.
Oh no.
Um, but anyways, okay, guys. Well, I just want to start to wrap this up. We budgeted for about 45 minutes. Do you guys have
Okay.
anything else that you would like to say? And as you guys make any sort of final thoughts or statements, I'll see if any amazing questions pop up that we need to knock out of the park as we close.
How about you, Nina? Anything you want to share?
I'll just share that the whole team's been really excited and invigorated by Elliot and Warren joining. So it's been a huge surge of, I don't know, new energy. And I'm really excited. I know he can't reveal all of his plans, but they're very great. And I think the community's going to love it. So we're happy you're here, Elliot.
Yay.
Yes, for sure, for sure. It's wonderful to work with you on this. How about you, Warren? You got any final thoughts of the day?
I would like to say that I do. I'm willing to bet there's a certain subset of the audience who's interested in art stuff and how it gets produced and that kind of jazz. And I'm looking
Yes.
forward to making. I became blog entries about that kind of stuff. So if people want to mix in requests for like, how is X built or how do you design whatever, drop that in the suggestions box and I'll see if I can make a blog post out of them.
Okay, now a question, and sorry I missed this, Joni. Will AI ever be improved, or do you
Yes.
think that it has reached a state of perfection right now, and
Yes.
It's become
nothing
sentient.
needs to change? It's just perfectly
Yes.
fine forever. Okay, so
Oh,
AI
yeah.
will definitely be improved.
Oh, yeah.
Any final thoughts, Elliot?
Um, I just want to say that this company that gives us a chance to get in here and focus fire on this game and give us the opportunity to go in there and really hyper focus on making it cool. This team is really, really energetic and really creative, and I'm really excited that we're getting a chance to interact with the community. I don't talk on Discord ever. Doesn't mean I'm not reading stuff. I'm just trying to make the game as cool as possible every waking moment. I must work like 14 hours a day or longer, but Warren is a hardcore, really well-known digital artist in the game industry. He's a master of Blender. His art station profile is amazing. He's done some really cool stuff. If you are interested in 3D art and design, you should hit him up. I mean, he's got cool YouTube tutorials from a long time ago. Nina is a master of UI and UX. That's a really cool career path to do in all kinds of industries. I mean, you should hit these people up. I mean, we're pretty laid back and cool people. Sometimes we work really, really hard, burn the candle really hard, but it's remembering who you're doing it for with a small niche community like this and giving back. Like, if you want to know about game design, how to get in the game industry, or whether your kid should go to a game college or something like that, I can tell you where to send them, what to do. So I'd be happy to help people with just your regular life stuff to connect our cool experiences with yours, because we're doing all the stuff for you. And that's all it really matters at the end of the day, that we're making something fun for other people. Everything else is just somehow connected. We don't know why. So, yeah, that's it from me, though. It's
Beautiful.
great to be here. We're going to keep cranking away 100 miles an hour. We're having a lot of fun. We have a really cool, smart team, and I'm really happy that you guys give me a chance to try to get this thing rolling super fast.
Would you guys like to share your Discord usernames so people know who you are?
I'm Misha Sled Dog, which is my old school Unreal Tournament deathmatch name. I was a level designer in the game industry for a long time, so it's Misha MYSCHA _ Sled Dog.
There you go.
Don't, if you direct message me and I don't answer you, it doesn't mean I don't like you, okay? That means one of these
goes for
computers
me
has got
too.
stuff running on it, and I'm running around like this over here, over here. How
Mine
about
is Nina's Sandbox.
There you go.
I'm Warren M. I think it's real straightforward.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, guys, let's go ahead and wrap for today.
Okay,
thank you all very much for participating, both Elliot, Warren, and Nina, and the community as well. Because honestly, we couldn't do any of this if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you very
Can
much.
I say one
for
last
that.
quick thing?
No.
Oh, come on.
Of course.
I'll be
Go ahead.
short, I promise. So I would love to know from the community, people that are new to the game, what things are confusing the most to you, right? Because I don't want to double guess, because I'm already past that phase myself. And the people who are really advanced, what kind of things would you like to see in this massive tutorial library that we're putting together, which will be individual chapters and articles? It'd be neat to capture that. Maybe Carrie can create a separate tab on our capture sheet that can capture the, like, it'd be really cool to find out more about this. And so I would love to have that
I think that that's a
information.
great idea. What do you feel? Just because we're I mean, while we're running a little over anyway, we might as well,
Too much fun.
Might
How
as well
bad?
just send it, right? Um,
And
what do you feel about community created tutorials that people could essentially contribute to? Um,
What I'd like to do is find out, because as a game designer, I used to be in architecture before that, and in game designer, one of the interesting challenges that we try to do is you tell us everything that you can possibly think of, and we wrangle that all together into something that a lot of people that can digest it, because taking all the information and turning it into something that reaches a lot of different people is kind of a craft. So it would really be nice if someone makes a suggestion and then we start making some of these tutorials to get them back in your hands and have you have a sneak preview of them and see if it resonates with you.
hmm,
And if there's something, even if there's an inaccuracy, we could be wrong. We may make the game can still say something the wrong way. And so
right.
Paul may use a word that's different than the word that I use a different word than someone else's does. So it'd be great to make sure it's accurate because it's not like a public wiki or anything like other people have. But yeah, I would love to do that. I think if someone wants to go ahead and write a tutorial and give it to me, I'd give you accolades. Tutorial written by blah blah blah. I mean, we might change the grammar or whatever in the editing because I'm a passive voice nutter, but it would be awesome to do that. I don't expect it though. All you gotta do is ask for stuff, and we'll do all the hard work.
Nice, nice. Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get my restream up here, and I think we're gonna go ahead and close this out. So again, thank you everybody for participating, and drop your suggestions for what you feel is confusing if you're a brand new player, and what you think should be improved if you're an advanced player, or the other way around too if you feel like it. And we're always listening, and thank you very much. I'm Jason Bitbender Brink from Gala Games. This is the absolutely amazing T.Elliot Cannon.
Just call me Elliot, man.
Elliot!
You don't use,
Elliot!
I'm not signing any paperwork here. Just call me
Okay,
Elliot, dude.
Elliot.
Cool.
Elliot Cannon, Warren, and Nina from the Townstar team. Thank you guys so much, and peace.
See ya.
all right,
Y'all have a great day.
thanks.
Talk to you later. V. Carrie Allen, tell her what you think.